Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Ari, and today we're going to have some more stories about our toxic life. But before we start, it would be so much appreciated if you would subscribe to my channel, like the video, if you enjoy it, and maybe leave a comment down below. These simple clicks would mean a lot to the future of this channel and really reward the effort that I put in every day. And now without further ado, let's go. Today's first story. In this story, OP's roommate's suggestion that she might be cheating leads him to investigate, and he discovers her on a date with her stepbrother. At graduation, he publicly exposed her infidelity at a university banquet, causing a scene. Although he felt vindicated, he later reflected on the situation and now remains vigilant about potential cheating in relationships. Now let's get into the story. My girlfriend and I both met during our junior year of college. We went to a small school, and it was hard not to notice everyone on campus. I'd seen her around from time to time, and I thought she was attractive. However, I never had a reason to go talk to her. We both ended up in the same writing class during the first semester of our junior year. As soon as I saw her, I sat down next to her and struck up a conversation. We ended up hitting it off, and we workshopped a lot of things together for the class. A few weeks into the semester, I made a move on her, and she seemed glad that I did. The first summer that we were apart was difficult because we weren't used to long distances. We lived about 4 hours away from each other, so we weren't able to see each other very often. We talked every day, and we ended up making a couple of trips to each other to hang out over the summer. When the fall semester of our senior year started, we were very happy to finally be back together. Everything was great between us when we started. I didn't notice anything strange going on between us, so I was maybe a little oblivious to some things. In hindsight, I can see how she wanted to hang out with me less and was using her course load as an excuse. I had seen her schedule at the beginning of the semester, and she had a relatively light course load. She had a job, but she only worked at it part-time. There was definitely time for her to go on more dates with me or spend more time with me if she just didn't want to. Whenever we were together, she would be on her phone a lot, and she was often pretty secretive about what she was doing on it. Things continued like that all the way until the spring semester. I had brought up a couple of times how I was feeling, but she assured me both times that she wanted to be with me and that she was just busy or stressed. One night, I texted her and asked her if I could come over to her room and spend the night with her. It was a Friday night, and I knew that she didn't work in the morning, and I just wanted to be with my girlfriend. She replied a few minutes later and told me that she had a migraine from looking at a computer for too long and was about to go to sleep. I was scrolling through Instagram and I saw a notification that my girlfriend was online. She told me she was going to sleep because she was looking at a screen all day and had a headache. I figured that she was lying to me about that and just didn't want to be with me because she was scrolling on Instagram. It was painful to have that realization, but I think it was something that I kind of needed. I was a little upset about it, so my roommate asked me about what was going on. I explained everything to him, and he told me that it sounded like she was over the relationship already. Then he casually mentioned that she was probably already talking to someone else. I didn't see the correlation right away, but he encouraged me to look into it. I didn't really think much about it right away, but after a few days of stewing on what he said, I decided that maybe it would be worth looking into. She really didn't want to spend a lot of time with me, and she was on her phone, quite a bit being secretive about it. It made sense that she could have been hiding something from me. I looked online for some clues about how to tell if someone's cheating, and I evaluated my relationship against those. I took a mental note of what her Snap score was if she was online after she told me she was going to sleep, and how often she turned me down when I asked if we could go on dates or be together. From everything I found, signs are pointing to her possibly being with someone else. One weekend, we made plans to go to a concert together. I bought the tickets and everything. She backed out at the last minute and told me that she had to work. She never worked on Saturdays, so right away it seemed like a lie to me. I told her that I was okay with it and that I would bring my roommate along to the concert with me instead. I told him what happened, and he got in my head that she was canceling to be with another guy. I let him convince me of that, and I was pretty frustrated and anxious about everything. I checked her Snap score while we were on our way to the concert and saw that it had been increasing while she was supposed to be at work. I could also tell through the maps on Snapchat that she was at a restaurant in the city, not at her job near our college campus. My roommate decided that instead of going to the concert, we were going to go see what was going on in that restaurant. When we got there, she was clearly on a date with a guy. They were sitting next to each other, and he had his arms around her while they were laughing and getting very cozy. We even saw them kiss a few times. I was heartbroken to see that everything my roommate had been saying was true. She had been cheating on me and lying to me throughout the year. I didn't know how long it had been going on, but she had been behaving a certain way for a while. While we were waiting, my roommate started looking through her social media profiles to try to figure out who the guy was. He put the pieces together relatively quickly and found out that the guy she was on the date with was her stepbrother. I knew that her parents were divorced and her mother had married pretty hastily during the spring semester of our junior year. However, I had never met her family. We hadn't been dating for that long, and her family never visited for family weekend or anything like that on campus. I was shocked that she was cheating on me with her stepbrother of all people. I told my roommate that I was going to confront her the following day and end everything with us. He was the one who convinced me to go about it a different way. He helped me plan how I was going to get revenge on them both. Her family didn't come to visit for small things, but I knew that they were coming in for our graduation ceremony. I pretended like everything was normal with us up until then. Every year, the day before our graduation ceremony, our university held a large banquet for the students and their family members. My girlfriend and I had planned on attending that together with our families so we could all meet each other. Everything was going very well at first. Everybody was getting along, and I was honestly drinking a little too much wine. The president of the university was scheduled to give a speech at the dinner, so there was a live microphone on the stage in the room. I was feeling a little confident, so I made my way over to the microphone. The faculty around me were a little surprised, but they didn't stop me right away. They probably should have. I started off by congratulating all of my fellow classmates on making it through the year to get to graduation. I turned my attention to my girlfriend, and many people in the room turned and looked at her while I was speaking. At first, it seemed like I was just talking about how lovely she was. Then I mentioned how I was surprised to see her on a date with her stepbrother. The room went silent when I brought that up. Everybody was taking in the gravity of what I'd said. They were both shaking their heads and denying it. I explained that I saw them kissing each other and how she was cheating on me with him, throughout the entire year. People were pulling out their phones to record what I was saying, but I was ushered away from the microphone by one of the faculty members before I could get into a lot of the details. However, her mother and stepfather were asking her a lot of questions, and she was trying to answer them. My parents pulled me out of the room and asked me about why I would embarrass her that way. I was just laughing, and I ended up leaving. My girlfriend texted me later that night and told me about how much I humiliated her in front of the entire class. I didn't really care. She had been lying to me and treating me like I was garbage for an entire year, and I finally found out why. I thought she deserved to be a little bit embarrassed about everything. Our graduation ceremony was the following day, and people were still talking about the dinner. I could see that my girlfriend was embarrassed and could feel people talking about her behind her back throughout the entire ceremony. I really think I ruined that for her. That was a few years ago, but I am now over what happened. I realized that not everybody is going to be the way that she was. However, I am now very aware of signs of cheating, and I keep an eye out for that in my relationships. Today's second story. In this story, after a blissful 2-year relationship, OP discovers his girlfriend is pregnant but suspects cheating. When he snoops through her phone, he finds messages revealing she's pregnant with another man's child. Upon confronting her, he posts evidence of the betrayal online, leading to public outrage and legal battles. Now let's get into the story. My girlfriend 25 and I 27 have been dating for about 2 years. The first few months of the relationship were blissful, and for a while, I thought she was the one for me. We lived together in the same 2-bedroom apartment, feeding off of each other's monthly salaries. I work as a junior sales representative while she does some receptionist work at a 3-star hotel a few blocks from where I live. With that, it was safe to say that we were doing okay financially, and we were ready to take our relationship to a whole new level. One day, she took me to her parents' house, and we stayed there for 2 whole weeks. They were really nice to me, and I enjoyed the mini vacation, except for the no having intimate under the roof part. But one thing I found interesting and a bit strange was how she was still in touch with family, friends, and all their children that she had grown up with. In this group of friends, there was one guy that in my eyes stood out as a big threat to our relationship. His name was David. He was 6'2", dark, and tall, with a habit of always whispering in my girlfriend's ear and making her laugh. On several occasions, my girlfriend's mother used to jokingly refer to him as my competition, a joke that I don't normally take lightly. This development bothered me, so I decided to ask my girlfriend about him. She brushed me off the second time, this time saying, "You worry too much. I only have eyes for you." I still had my doubts about him, but he managed to reassure me in the end. One day, she and her whole family went on a Bible camp retreat for 1 week in the woods. I didn't bother to tag along because I wasn't too big on Christianity. Plus, I wasn't invited. My girlfriend said that some of their family friends were coming to the camp too, including David's parents. I asked if David would be there, and she said he wouldn't, so I didn't see any more reason to worry. 2 days into the retreat, calls to her number stopped going through. I tried and tried again, but still, her phone was switched off. So I stopped trying and waited for her to come back. When she was back, I asked her about her phone being switched off all the time, and she said we were in the woods. What do you expect? So I didn't ask again. I also asked if David was there with them, and she said he wasn't. So for a while, I believed we were fine. Fast forward to about 2 months after her trip. I attended the birthday party of one of my closest friends at the club. There was a familiar face who kept staring at me until I walked up to her to talk. She introduced herself as Angela and said we had met before at my girlfriend's dad's house. She was David's girlfriend who came with him on one of our visits to my girlfriend's house. We talked about a lot of things, and it turns out that I wasn't the only one who was insecure about my girlfriend's and David's weird relationship. She told me how he left her all alone for 1 week in the name of some Bible camp. She was sure my girlfriend also attended. I didn't tell her she was right, or that my girlfriend had told me that David wasn't there. I just nodded in agreement to everything she said, too confused and betrayed to say another word. When I got home, I decided not to jump to any drastic conclusions. I needed leverage over her, some evidence to prove my doubts. So I decided to check her phone, which was the only place I could find what I was looking for. So, one day when she was in the shower, I snooped. And as soon as I unlocked it, her messaging app immediately popped up on the screen with David's name being the first on the list. From the look of it, I realized they were fighting about something. But what? I decided to look deeper, and behold, there it was, the greatest betrayal I have ever experienced in my lifetime. She told him she was pregnant with his baby, but he denied it, saying that he wasn't the only partner she had. She told him that it wasn't possible for the baby to be mine, that she had done an ultrasound, and according to the results, the timing wasn't right, as we weren't intimate during that 1 week of camp and a few weeks preceding, and immediately after that week due to circumstances, but mostly because of her own reluctance. He then proceeded to blame her for seducing him throughout camp and told her that he wasn't ready to be a father just yet. After about a full page of insults and red-faced emojis, they both decided to pin the pregnancy on me. It was better for everyone that way since I love kids so much, and he didn't want anything to do with the child. I was shocked beyond words that I wasn't sure how I still managed to take a screenshot of the chat and send it to my phone before she was done showering. The following day, she dropped the bomb on me. She told me that she had news for me and didn't know if it was good or bad news depending on how I would take it. Then she said she was pregnant. I wanted to react to ask more questions but failed. Figured it was only going to make her suspicious. So I smiled and embraced her and said it was wonderful news. She went to work that day feeling happy and oblivious to what was really on my mind. I called my lawyer friend for advice, and he told me that I needed to order a prenatal paternity test via a court as proof that I wasn't the father before the baby was born, and she put my name on the birth certificate. My brain was befuddled as I didn't know where to start. If I asked her nicely, she would know something was up and refuse. If I asked her forcibly, she would outrightly refuse. I couldn't think of anything else, so I decided to pack my bags and leave the house. She began to call my phone and tried so hard to reach me when she realized I was gone. I didn't pick up, blocking her number eventually. About a week after I left, she decided she was ready to announce to the world that she was expecting, posting her baby's ultrasound on Facebook. She captioned it with a touching speech about the joys and sorrows of motherhood. Then she tagged me in the post. Someone asked who the father was in the comments, and that was when she began dragging me, telling everyone that I ran away and deserted my child. I couldn't take it anymore. All the manipulations, all the lies. I had to react fast and clear my name. So I made a post on my Facebook page with a screenshot I took from her phone, where they both admitted it was his baby and agreed to pin the pregnancy on me. I tagged her and captioned it, "I don't think so." In only a matter of minutes, the post exploded, and that was when all hell broke loose. She kept spamming me on Messenger, asking me to take down the post, begging and pleading, asking me to think about our child and not embarrass her like that. My post got flooded with likes and comments, and my inbox was full of her family spamming me, calling me every name under the sun, and people who were curious and concerned about me. I refused to take the post down. Why would I? Even David snuck into my DM and typed, "Not cool, bro. Not cool. I don't think so. Pinning a child that isn't mine on me. Now that is not cool." I managed to get a prenatal paternity test with the help of her parents, who just wanted closure from all the embarrassment and to find the real dad to pin the child's support on him. The court decided that the baby wasn't mine, and my lawyer sent her a cease and desist to prevent her from putting my name on the birth certificate. Once it was all over, we went our separate ways. And now I'm in a very serious relationship with Angela, David's ex-girlfriend. The both of us have gone through so much in the hands of those two monsters that now it was only right we found love in each other's arms. I'm sorry about your ex-girlfriend.